thank all y'all for being here. Wow, there's a lot of people here. It's a lot different sitting in the front row. You've certainly got a lot of friends, so I think you could fit all my friends in a small car. I guess I could elaborate a little bit on some of the pictures that you may or may not have got a glimpse of. It was going pretty fast, but as the story goes, when they came down here, Dad had lost his job, and it was cold, and he didn't like the cold, so they packed up that car, and it was very heavily overloaded, as you could see in the picture. And they headed until they got down, 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 until they got down around. I guess it was Homestead, and a big alligator was crossing the road in front of them, and that was about all that Mom could take. So they turned around and headed back up north, and made a couple stops along the way, but wound up in Long Beach County, in western Lake Worth. And Dad got his job at Pratt Whitney, and he was there about 30 years, you know. But let's see what else in the pictures might have you missed. They built that house there in the mid-'60s, and then I came along, forever known from now on as the family toy. Yeah, that won't stick, no. The mom says that I keep them young. I don't know, I think I actually aged them quite a bit. They seem to be doing pretty well. Growing up was pretty cool. We had, I don't know, 4 or 5 acres, because Dad actually came from a farm, so what he considered a yard was 4 or 5 acres. And, yards have grass, and Dad was a farmer. Somehow he never got the cutting grass concept, and he didn't like it. So one of my memories of, father-son type stuff was Dad teaching me how to, cut the lawn with a riding lawnmower, which, was pretty cool and everything, except that was 4. What? So he'd start that Boland's tractor up and put it in gear and rev it full throttle because, like I said, he didn't like to cut grass. So that poor little tractor was running full blast, and he showed me where the key was and where the steering wheel was, and that's about all I got. He said if I run into problems, turn the wheel or turn the key, one or the other. To this day, I can't stand cutting grass. I will do anything to keep from cutting grass. I got back at him in later years. I remember I called him at work one time, because he worked second shift a lot, and I know I called him at work one time and I said, hey, me and my friend, we caught a little snake in the back. We had a little pond in the back, and I said, we caught a little snake, and we want to skin it, for a souvenir, or whatever. And he said, well, it's not a water moccasin, is it? Oh, no, we wouldn't mess. We know what the difference between the different snakes are, and we would never mess with a water moccasin. Oh, okay, well, he went in and, go ahead and tell me how to, skin the snake and nail it to a board and put some salt on it, and, went into the whole thing. So he comes home from work, and leaning against the front door in the house is a board with a 6-foot rattlesnake skin on the board. Now, I was about probably 10 at the time, and it was a bigger snake than that. And I was all disappointed, because by the time we smaller than it was originally. So I was very disappointed, but it didn't go over so well with Mom and Dad. But it wasn't a water moccasin. You can see in a couple of the pictures there, I like to work on cars. I picked that up from my brother and from my dad. He drove to Pratt Whitney in a big Delta 888. It was as big as, it was like 25 feet long. And he took riders, and he was very dependable. He knew, he had a good schedule, and he took riders to help pay for the gas. I don't know, 25 cents a gallon or something. What was it? $1. I remember $1 a gallon, and I thought that was horrible when I was first driving. But he tried to get the best mileage he could out of that car, and I'd spend a lot of time on the weekends working on the car with him and stuff. And we got the mileage better and better, and sometimes the mileage would get really bad, like really bad. And then next weekend we'd be working on, we'd be rebuilding the carburetor or whatever, and then the mileage would get good again. Well, I never really told Dad until now, but I was siphoning gas out of that car.
Been where my gas mileage went too.
That's my brother Larry. Let me tell you about some of the things he's done. Larry wasn't real, I don't know, he's a good mechanic now, but I guess back then he wasn't all that good, and he didn't know how to rebuild a carburetor. And he had a car, and I guess he had a hot date that night, and so he was still living at home at the time, and I was a little kid, and he couldn't get his car running, and he had a hot date, so he took carburetor off Dad's car. That's your son there. So Dad got in the car to, go to work. And that car wouldn't start. Now, cars, you have to pump the gas, and somebody to wait. Well, the car wouldn't start, so Dad's, he opens the hood. There's the air cleaner there, the motor and everything, but there's no carburetor underneath that air cleaner. There's just gas everywhere, raw gas. Good, Dad. I think he can take you, Larry, so behave.